Community Voices, Comedy Edition.
So the more you have to say to us in the comments, the better. Well, hello there, you lovely digital audience. It has been a minute. For those of you that are new to my face, I better actually show you my face. I still have some mustache in my mouth. Hello! My name is Katie H., and I am the Associate Director of Arts Engagement with the Old Globe in San Diego, California. And I still have mustache in my mouth. This is the perfect intro of this here workshop that I am hosting, that you're watching online. This is the Community Voices Comedic Writing Workshop. Woohoo! For those of you that might remember me from past AETV hits, like Community Voices Old School Edition and Playwrights Unstuck, or the Living Room Play Workshop, you should know that this workshop is going to be a little different. But those were all fun, huh? If you were a part of those workshops, say hi! I would love to know who is back for more. You can leave us comments. We love comments. We eat them. They are our survival at this moment, your comments. They are the closest thing we've got to an audience. So the more you have to say to us in the comments, the better. Say hello. I am here, as I promised all of you that saw those past workshops. I promised that I would be back, and it's been a little bit, it's been a couple of months, but I am back here on this digital hemisphere, ready to kick off this brand new playwriting workshop with all of you. Huzzah! And to continue to make kind of an arse of myself publicly on the internet for your viewing pleasure. It gives me a lot of joy. So what have I got up my sleeve for this puppy? Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to explore the exact same thing that we're calling this workshop. We're going to dig into the wonderful wide world of comedic performance-based writing. This is a massive undertaking. So we're going to treat this workshop a little bit differently than the Community Voices Old School Edition, if you were a part of that. This workshop is going to have individual lessons that will each be self-contained and will feature a different style of comedic writing and a different comedic writing prompt each week. We're going to kick every workshop off by reading an example of the different structure of comedic writing that we're investigating that week. Then we're going to chat about it with some super cool actor folks. And then we're going to send you off on your own adventure of developing a scene within each style and genre of comedic writing by providing you weekly prompts and handouts for you to investigate your funny side. Woo! If you're not into the genre that we are exploring that week, hey, that's no big deal. We're going to have a new take on different comedic writing form the following week. So if you don't like what we're looking into this week, then, sit that one out and join us the following week. And what we are investigating the next week might be more your style. This specific writing workshop is also an opportunity, though, for you to explore your style outside of your own. This is something that might stretch those writing muscles even further. Take each week in stride and know that each opportunity to write something new is a chance to develop your own voice as a playwright, which is super cool, and there's not a lot of opportunities to be invited to try something a little bit outside of your comfort zone. So I encourage you to dive in each week and try things out, even if it feels a little bit outside of your world. Though this workshop is not going to be sequential, you'll definitely want to tune in each week because elements of one funny style of writing can be incredibly informative for a different genre you might like to also explore. And hybrids exist in the world of comedic writing. You might need that other workshop to inform your style of writing because you need to bring two styles of writing together. I just figured out I was going to do that, and I'm very impressed with myself. At the end of the 10-week workshop, I'm going to host a really funny as heck digital reading featuring you and any of the work that's been developed through our time together. You just got to share with me what you wrote through email. My email is kharoff@theoldglobe.org. Now you jot that down and keep it handy, although we're going to remind you of it every single ding-dong week. But, you know, keep it handy. And please, please, please don't send me any chain letters this year. I'm still recovering from not forwarding that last one on to 400 of my closest friends. You know, this is what happens when you don't forward chain letters. So thanks. So don't send any more of those to me, please. So now that I've gotten the details out of the way, let's jump into our very first style of comedic writing that we are exploring, situational or anecdotal. Now, the definition of anecdotal comedy is that this is a style of comedic performance or medium that refers to things that are personal, truthful, or inspired by real events, but they are likely embellished or fictionalized for the purposes of entertainment. I'm starting with this style because it is my personal favorite and it is the most accessible. If you've ever watched a sitcom like Blackish or The Goldbergs, stories inspired by truthful and often real personal experiences of the writers, then you've seen this form that we're exploring today in action. What are some of your favorite sitcoms or movies or plays that you've seen in this medium? I would love to hear about it. Go ahead and tell us in the comments so I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. And to develop your own anecdotal comedy, all you're going to have to do is dig into your own bank of personal memories, stories, and life situations as your inspiration. In fact, a lot of anecdotal comedy is inspired by, you know, maybe something not funny as a situational jumping point. Anecdotal comedy can utilize those very lifey moments that we have and allow an audience to laugh at our discomfort or pain. My nose is itchy and I have this thing, so you can all laugh at my pain when I try to itch my nose. This is situational comedy. IRL. I don't, you know, so I'm a little off at this moment because my nose itched and now I'm recovering from it like an anecdotal comedy would, which utilizes the lifey moments that we have and that allows an audience to laugh at our discomfort or pain. And often these situations may not immediately appear funny, but perhaps in retrospect they are, or they can be, or something can be slightly altered to your story to make it comedic. And you know what? It's pretty therapeutic to take something that was once kind of painful and spin it on its head and point at it a little differently and laugh at it. Might be the exact right thing that you need in order to move past a situation. But I'm not a therapist. Okay, let's dig into our example text for today so you can hear what anecdotal comedy sounds like in action. This is a piece written by Lisa Krohn of Fun Home fame. She wrote the lyrics and book that were inspired by Alison Bechdel's graphic novel. This piece is a short 10-minute play called Charity, and it is inspired by the relocated individuals that had their homes basically destroyed after Hurricane Katrina. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can one of the most devastating things in our history be funny? Why are you bringing this into your first day of comedy writing? Well, let's just listen and see. First, let me introduce my actors for today, Jake Millgard and Jyl Kaneshiro.
Hello, you two.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing today? How you doing, Jyl?
I'm doing well, considering it's actually really nice, so it's a beautiful day.
It's a really nice day. We had a rainy weekend and now it's nice and clean out. How about you, Jake? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Stepping away from the pandemic homeschooling for a little bit is nice.
Oh, well, thanks for taking a break with us. We're happy to see both of you back here on our digital platform, you wonderful actors. And I just wanted to ask you a little question today, and that is, do you have a piece of anecdotal or situational comedic media, like film or television or even a play, that you personally really enjoy, that you wouldn't mind sharing with us? Jill, do you have one you like?
Can we go to Jake? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jake, what about you? Have you got one you like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a sucker for like a sitcom like Everybody Loves Raymond, or something along those lines. I always really enjoy. I also really enjoy like if we go and do the route of like stand-up comedy, like Jim Gaffigan, or
Oh, yeah.
things like that. Those are, I mean, I'm kind of drawn to when real life gets a little ridiculous.
Well, thank you for bringing up stand-up comedy as an example of this art form. Stand-up comedy is really, for a lot of anecdotal and situational writing, is kind of like the gateway to it, which is why you see a lot of stand-up comedians end up with their own sitcom, because in their stand-up comedy, they share a lot of situational or anecdotal humor that lends itself into a reenactment type script, like Everybody Hates Chris, for example. Chris Rock did his stand-up for so long and shared so many kind of anecdotal situations from his youth. Somebody thought, hey, Chris Rock, you should turn that into a TV show. And that's where that TV show came from. And same thing with Everybody Loves Raymond, which is where Everybody Hates Chris kind of played its joke on its title from. That comedian Raymond, what is
Ray Romano.
Ray Romano. Dedoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jill, did we help you remember anything you enjoyed?
I'm sorry, you kind of threw me there. I don't know. I'm not like a big, huge fan of comedy, so I don't know the differentiating types of it. But if Everybody Loves Raymond is that type of anecdotal, that's a really difficult word. Excuse me.
That's okay.
Comedy,
you could say situational.
That is definitely my. I'm sorry.
You could also say situational, anecdotal.
Situational. I like that one. That one works for me. That's definitely my type of style too. Then, if that's
Everybody
if that
Loves
falls
Raymond.
into that character, yeah, love that show.
Yeah, like pieces that kind of tell a story that might be inspired by something real that happened.
Okay. Yes.
I feel like, and I also
is.
feel like it's such a wonderful way to get into writing, because it's taking things of yourself and kind of what things make you laugh about your own life. Like I just wrote with my writing partner, we wrote a whole series about like all the crazy stuff we have to deal with being dads.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's exactly why we're starting with this specific opening, because it is really the most directly related to most people. In anecdotal, it is difficult, Jill, and situational writing, we are asking you to reach into your own bank of stories, your own history, and kind of look at your own life's landscape and see where the humor lies. Everybody has situational elements that were pretty funny, maybe not at the moment, but looking back might end up being very, very funny, which leads me into our reading for today, which is really a very specific script that deals with this tragedy, like I mentioned. And we're going to just kind of dig into it today and let you hear it, and we'll talk a little bit about it afterwards. And these two fabulous actors are going to be playing the two main speaking characters, although the piece does have some additional non-speaking characters, which you're going to hear about, but not see through the reading. And just to help with this reading, I'm going to be reading the stage directions of our piece today. And I'm going to go ahead and go off screen right now so you can focus on these two marvelous actors. Let's jump into our reading. You two ready?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Charity by Lisa Crone. The characters are Merlene Odoms, her 7-year-old son Claude, and her 9-year-old daughter Antoinette. They are wearing t-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops and carrying plastic supermarket bags containing all that's left of their belongings. They're holding glossy folders with the Bellagio logo on the front and are listening, wide-eyed and a bit shell-shocked, to Clay Erickson, a hospitality specialist at the Bellagio.
Okay, so in your packets, you will find your room key, a map of the strip, your vouchers for the world famous Bellagio buffet, and compliments of Mr. Wynn tickets to a very special show called O.
He leans down to talk to Antoinette.
Do you know what O is about, honey? Oh, well, it's a show all about water.
Claude and Antoinette look at their mother, their eyes fill with confusion and tears and a touch of incredulity.
They're a little frightened of water right now, Mr. Erickson. We was floating on a mattress for 5 days.
Believe me, I know. I can't even imagine what that was like for you, Mrs. Odoms. But that's why we thought this might be good, therapeutic, right? To get back on the horse, to see that water can be fun. We're going to have grief counselors sitting in the row behind you. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Clay hands Merlene an envelope.
Mr. Wynn thought you probably needed a little fun, so this is $50 in cash. Mad money, as it were.
He pours a big pile of chips into each of the children's hands.
And $200 in chips, to which you can use at any of the Wynn Hotel casinos. Normally kids aren't allowed in the casinos, but we are making an exception.
Can I just cash them in for the money?
Well, when Mr. Wynn gives out chips, which he very seldom does, by the way, he expects that they'll use them to play in the casinos.
No disrespect, but we're not much in the mood for gambling right now, Mr. Erickson.
Clay receives a cell phone call.
Yep. Thanks. Okay, Mr. Wynn and Mrs. Dion are going to be here shortly. Mrs. Odoms, listen, can I speak frankly with you?
Okay.
It would be really nice if you could thank Mr. Wynn and Miss Dion when they get here. It's fine that you haven't thanked me because I'm just the conduit for their generosity, but I really think it would be nice if you acknowledged what a terrific thing they're doing here.
Can we stay here permanently?
What do you mean? Of course not.
This is the third city we've been to in 5 weeks, Mr. Erickson. We don't need to gamble or see shows. We need an apartment, and I need a job. My kids need to go to a school and not get pulled out after 10 days.
We're holding out a helping hand, Mrs. Odoms. But you're also going to have to show some initiative. Okay? Celine Dion and Steve Wynn cannot magically change your life for you, can they?
I actually think that they could. I think they're richer than God, and they could get me an apartment and a job here at the Bellagio in billing or shipping and receiving. A nice desk job. That's all I would need.
Clay's cell phone rings.
Yep. Super. Mr. Wynn and Ms. Dion are in the building, so we need to put your happy faces on, okay?
I put on a happy face when you get me an apartment.
That's not our responsibility, okay? We're doing all that we can for you.
You know what I'm doing right now?
What?
I'm showing some initiative. There's a lot of jobs here. Get me one.
Okay, listen, there is a process. You have vouchers, right? From the government for an apartment?
I've been to 17 apartments. 3 here in Vegas, and I only been here half a day. 8 in Houston and 6 in Oklahoma. They tell me we can give you this apartment if you show us a birth certificate and certify that you never committed a felony.
Calm down, Mrs. Odom.
You calm down. You a felon, Mr. Erickson?
No.
No?
No.
Me either. I ain't got no birth certificate. I ain't got nothing. My whole life was washed away. All I want to do is take care of my babies.
The children begin to cry. Merlene glares at Clay. His cell phone rings.
Yeah. What? A riot? Where? Oh God, there's some kind of riot. Are Mr. Wynn and Mrs. Dion okay? Oh God, thank God. Okay. Guests are being threatened. It's terrible. Okay. It's on CNN. What are they reporting? Rumors. Yeah, right. There's people heard yelling. Uh-huh. Refugees from New Orleans are taking over the Bellagio? I thought you people were the only ones here. There must have been another big bus that, load brought in from the MGM or something. Oh my God. They're showing footage from the security cameras? Woman. Crazy. Yelling. Taking everything they can carry? They're showing these kids with their hands full of chips.
Clay sees Merlene and her kids holding the chips he's given them.
Oh. Oh no. Yeah, there's been a mistake. Yeah, no. Everything's fine. It's a big misunderstanding. I guess. I'm so sorry. I don't know how that happened.
Merlene puts her arms on the shoulders of her children. She looks at Clay, shaking her head. End of play. Hooray! Let's hear it for these two. Thank you both for sharing this reading with us today. I'm just going to ask you one question about it, and it's just an opportunity for folks at home to kind of connect with this reading a little bit more and understand it from the comedy writing standpoint. And my question to the two of you is just what did you find funny about it? And just to not put Jill on the spot this time, I'm going to start with Jake. Jake, sure. What did you in particular find comedic about this play?
I think how completely on two different pages the characters are. It's almost as though, despite the fact that they're in the same room together, they're living in two totally different worlds.
Absolutely. That's even to the point where when they're communicating, it doesn't seem like at least the Clay character fully understands Merlene and her situation. And even though what she's saying is very clear to us, the audience, for Clay, it's just, what do you mean you're looking for a job? I'm giving you a free room and a bunch of chips. And he just really does not understand her circumstances. And that yeah, even though it is irritating, it's also pretty funny to watch two people at such different spectrums of their mental space be in the same place and trying to communicate. Jill, where was the humor in this piece for you?
Oh, absolutely. In the two worlds, just completely on different ends. But for me, it's I know people like that where they pretend to give from the heart, but they want acknowledgement for giving. And to me, that is just, it's just a slap in the face. And to see it written down and to see this being played out is hilarious. It's so funny to me.
Me too. I mean, and to take such a really dark and difficult moment of our history with Hurricane Katrina and the people that were dislocated at that time and had to find another place to live. It's something real that really did happen, and that displacement of people wasn't managed well in our historically. You could really look this up and look into it and see what it was like. Some people were able to find a new location and were able to kind of bunker down while their life was ripped from them, but a lot of people were kind of sent from place to place, and that's really what Lisa Kron tapped into, this devastating moment. And knowing that some of those refugees were sent to Las Vegas, and knowing what Vegas is really like a community, and how it kind of really wants to live in the world of fun and frivolous and excess and riches and spoils, to have someone with like really nothing having to be in that environment while they're piecing their life together. It's kind of funny. It's definitely still devastating, but also a little funny. And
sending them to a show about water when your entire life has been devastated by flooding.
We can't have kids on this show for that reason, but just imagining those kids and their eyes of shock at that time. Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you both so much for sharing your talents with us, sharing your thoughts and perspectives around this writing. And I hope to see you on our show again. Would you join us again at some point?
I would love to.
Yeah.
Please. That pause is an element of comedy, and the dog agrees.
Sorry.
All right, you two. Thank you so much. We're going to say goodbye for you for now. We'll see you next time. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Okay, let's hear it one more time for those really wonderful actors. If you enjoyed their performance, go ahead and say applause or yay in the comment section. That's how we share the love here. I really enjoy having actors on my shows. We really miss live performance. This is the next best thing we got. So give them a round of written applause. All right, now, the one thing that I really want to make sure to highlight from that text was the element of juxtaposition that was used. There was this juxtaposition of the situation. And this is really where the humor lied. We talked a little bit about that in our discussion. I just want to underline it. This horrific situation, a woman needing to find refuge with her family after a horrible event, being saddled with, frankly, a tone-deaf concierge in the middle of America's playground, Las Vegas. The reality of this situation, as it might have played out in the real world, was likely in no way funny. It's the way Lisa Kron, the playwright, juxtaposes what is this tragic situation for this family against the ridiculousness and, frankly, gluttonous, greedy backdrop of Las Vegas is what makes it funny and poignant. So now we're going to dig into the very first writing prompt for this workshop so that you can explore your own anecdotal comedy writing exploration using specifically this tool of juxtaposition to explore. Now, not all anecdotal or situational comedy deals with juxtaposing events. This is just one element of the genre we're going to explore. And in the link, you can find, and our very helpful comment moderator will help you find this, you're going to be able to find our very first handout for the workshop. Now, I want you to go ahead and open up this link, and if you can't, it's okay, we're just going to go over it together now. On this handout, it says, For the purpose of this exercise, you are going to explore writing out a situation using contrasting, juxtaposing circumstances that are being forced to exist together in your as your inspiration. And since this is an anecdotal script, utilize your own life as a source of inspiration for the environment of the piece. Now, I do want to say, use your own life as inspiration, but no one's going to track you and make sure this is entirely based on truth. And just like Lisa Krone's piece was likely fictionalized, you may take a situation that inspires you in your life and just use that as a jumping off point. Let's keep reading. First, think of a moment when you were dealing with a heavy or difficult or substantially lifey situation. Jot down notes on that situation here for your use, and you'll jot that down. Next, was there a contrasting event happening around this event in your life that you remember? And then you're going to say, who are the characters of the piece? Remember that the more that you have for something short, we're writing something short for the purpose of this, the more development you need to do on those individuals. So can you combine any of these characters into one? Do you really need to have that many? Can you have maybe 2 or 3 max? And then last, if this is a situation, if this situation is inspiring to you, please write a 3 to 5 page scene within the world of this environment and see what kind of comedy can ensue with the juxtaposing event or environment. And that's what I want you to explore in your own writing. You may go through this worksheet and say, I know exactly the thing. I had a situation where I was in this place and then my cousin walked in and he was wearing a shark costume and nobody was ready for a shark costume or whatever. You might have that on the tip of your tongue. This worksheet is a tool to inspire you, to prompt you, to guide you into this. I'm also including in our worksheets the play structure outline so you know how to structure a script that you're writing. Please follow along with that as you develop your own anecdotal piece inspired by this prompt. And that is what I want you to explore in your own writing. If you're proud of what you developed, and I'm sure you're going to be proud, and even if you aren't and just want to share and discuss it with me and how it was challenging, I just want you to send me your work and we can help find your comedic voice together. My email, once again, is kharoff@theoldglobe.org. And I will ask you to see if we can potentially include it in our final performance presentation event happening in 10 weeks from today. And you can absolutely say no to me and I won't use it. But I hope you don't say no. I hope you say yes and we can share it. But that is a wrap on the very first ever Community Voices Comedy Edition. I hope you enjoyed us digging into the world of anecdotal and situational humor, and I can't wait to read your juxtaposing prompt work. Now I want you to get into the laughs. Ha 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 ha. See you next time, friends.